Alrighty, guys. It's Trent Knox. I'm back live once again to talk about should you start a podcast. And it's a little bit of an impromptu show. Up early in the bright morning on Sunday to talk about this topic. You know, the new trend for me is to talk about my current status across social media, I like this trend on YouTube, and I want to dive into it more. And it's this acknowledgement of where you are as a creator. I have under 500 subscribers, and I'm wanting. Who's gonna get murdered? Okay, mom's in the outside of the studio talking about some sort of thing. She probably doesn't even know I'm in here. Yeah, the trend is under 500 subscribers, and the topic today is, should you start a podcast? People are asking this question. I am meeting with folks who have just started their podcast, folks who've not even taken the first steps to start their podcast. And it's interesting because I've been doing podcasting for going on, let's see, since 2012, if you want to call it a podcast. It was really jumping on a live stream on Ustream, and just basically talking about what was important to me at the time as a freshman college student at Texas State University. And the journey has come a long way. The journey has come a long way from that laptop webcam to cheap $2 microphones on a kitchen table to a pretty full suite studio that I work in now. And it's still kind of, it's got its luster to it, I guess you should say. Like, I've been in some really, really, really nice studios before, and it has aspects of that, but I'm still kind of rigging it all together. Different pieces to make this show rock and roll. People ask me, they say, hey, should I start a podcast? And I do consulting with people who are looking to start their podcast, and I tell them, I say, hey, look, there are different styles of podcasters. There's quick, bite-sized content creators who interview people in a fast pace, and there are long-format podcasters who have in-depth, deep conversations. They get emotional. They joke around. They make mistakes. They do a lot of different things. You can find all kinds of podcasts on all different topics. And so should you start a podcast? It really depends what you have to say. And uncomfortable in your life without a podcast, without your voice, your opinion out there for people to scrutinize, to congratulate, to analyze. There's a lot that you can do. 1 second. Alexa, turn on Studio Mini Split. It's that time. Did it turn on? Yep, there we go. Now my AC is back on. Podcasting, for me, wasn't the beginning of my creator journey. It came along as a priority as far as content creation goes, more so in 2018. I just kind of live streamed, IRL, put it out there, whatever. It wasn't polished, and I wouldn't say this is either. I just like live streaming, I think, more than I like podcasting in a formal setting. I like to go live. I like to be spontaneous, I guess, and create content, that's just freestyle, fresh, and Sometimes it comes off slow, sometimes it comes off fast. It just comes off in all sorts of different ways. And I'm definitely rusty. I've been away for a while. It's been a long time since I did a daily podcast where I talked about everything going on every single day. You know, it's every day, bro, like a Jake Paul. But like I said yesterday, I don't know if I'm ready to come back. So I'm just kind of like talking it through with my audience, even though I have under 500 subscribers. Obviously, I've got more on my personal profile on LinkedIn, which I'm not necessarily using for promoting this yet, but it's not out of the question. It's not necessarily out of the cards to do. I'm just taking baby steps to get back into this thing. You know, right now I'm only broadcasting to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I'm not touching base with those gamer platforms like Twitch and Kick right now, because they don't necessarily have the suite of tools that I need. Get the brand out there. Live streaming, right, fits with those platforms. Obviously, those are live streaming platforms. But what I'm doing right now is basically live in a studio, sitting Andy's, being basically a sitting Andy, just in a chair talking to a computer. I'm not necessarily doing any reacting to any content yet, but that could be a next evolution of what this season of the Trent Knox Show is. If this is a part of the Trent Knox Show, I don't know. You know, I think if I'm going to be helping out other creators with their content, that I need to be actively creating content myself. And so like I'm kind of answering the question for you by talking through what it means to me. So should I start a podcast? Yes. The answer is yes. How? Why? When? Where? All of these other questions that come up as well. You have to kind of figure that out yourself. And it's not easy. You know, I mentioned that in the last podcast, live stream. It's not easy. It's not easy if you don't have a particular niche, or you don't have like a necessary vision for the direction you're going to go with your podcast, the topic. There's a lot to consider. I think getting started is important. And I think a lot of the creators who come on his YouTube platform and they talk about just getting started, you'll see growth over time. I don't know, I've gotten started so many different times. It resulted in a lot of the times where there are obstacles that can be overcome to stay consistently creating. But I don't think it's absolute. I think that you can create content when you have the capacity to do so. And then when you don't have the capacity to do so, whether it be energy, time, money, whatever it is, you can always get back into it at any time. You know, it's not absolute. Even though you talk to some of your people, you know, that your followers or whatever, and they might say like, you know, they miss you. They might say, you know, they don't like the way that your content is, the direction your content is going in. They, you know, the people who are negative and the people who are positive as well, you know, opinions only matter if you have way break down what they're trying to tell you and implementing it in as positive a way for your stability, both logically and emotionally. And that helps you create the best content that you can create, or take a break. Just like focus on something other than slaving away, grinding on content creation. You've got a lot going on in life already. Everyone does. Some people have anxiety around crossing streams between the person that they portray themselves as in their professional life and the person that they portray themselves as in their personal life. And sometimes people don't want those things to be mixed. They want your dividing line between them because they have a job, because they have existing clients. There are all different reasons why. And I think that starting a podcast, you want to maximize your reach as much as possible. So like limiting your reach is by saying like this is personal and that's professional, I think is not in anyone's best interest. I even do it to a degree. And sometimes it's not intentional, sometimes it is intentional. My LinkedIn kind of, it's divided in some sense. It's, there's my personal profile, which has the more followers than the business page, but sometimes I just want to kind of like test an idea or what have you, and I'll post it to the LinkedIn page versus doing it to my personal profile. It's neither here nor there when it comes to that. Really, when I focus on the personal page, I'm focusing on trending topics that are happening that, I'm not necessarily contributing to those trending topics, but I am an observer of the culture. And so my contribution is external, not internal to those things. But I tell people, like, this is what's actually going on in the industry as far as creators go, or as far as AI goes. There's a lot of topics. There's a lot to cover. As far as business, starting a podcast is also an opportunity to make money to a degree. You can create memberships, sell courses, do advertising. There's a lot. There's a lot of opportunity. Use a podcast as a tool to market your services, products, and solutions. And I encourage people to do that. But it's not just about the podcast. It's about all the different ways to create content. Whether that be vlogging, live streaming, photography, all the above, everything. And a podcast kind of needs all those things as well. You kind of have to have a brand identity. You need to have graphic design. You need to have a ton of assets for a podcast. Not in like the definitional way, because like a podcast is just, audio on an RSS feed out there for people to listen to. But when you talk about the value of content and its production value, there are norms as to what increases the value of content. Like recently people have commented a lot on the fact that I'm back in the studio. I've got the lighting set up again, cameras, the microphones, headphones, the practicals, the mise en scène. I'm just vibing right now. I'm just chilling, to be honest. Just chilling in the just chatting section. Just trying to get some of these, just trying to start the engine again. Just to get motivated, get inspired, to feel a sense of purpose, to ignite the passion again. That's what I'm trying to do by going live and asking these questions. Yesterday was, am I an influencer? Today is, should I start a podcast? And I hope that when people stumble upon this video, because they're asking the question themselves, that they discover their own answer, be it yes or no or maybe. It's interesting that the people that I'm connecting with recently as far as my consulting business goes. They have aspirations to start or are like just getting started on things that I've already done. I know that I have the technical prowess to help them accomplish their goals, and I sometimes question whether what my struggle is that I just don't have a lot of confidence in myself. I have confidence in a courage or initiative and all of those aspects. Like it's not fear or an anxiety that limiting me as a content creator. It's I don't actually know whether anything I have to say has any value to the culture. I mean, I'm happy to come on here and do the thing because I know how to do it. And maybe that's enough. Maybe, but I mean, like I talk about some of the projects that I have in the pipeline, and I say I'd be just happy to wash dishes, which is euphemism. I just want to be involved. I want to be a participant, even if I am the last person in the race. And maybe that's the approach that I need to look at it as, because not everyone can take first place. Not everyone can be a top 100, top 500, top 1,000, top 10,000 influencer. I don't even know what that even looks like. There's some crossover between the celebrity world and content creators now, so it's like there's a big blur between what a celebrity is, an influencer is, a creator is in general. It's almost, I mean, the terminology, it's being captured a lot of different ways. And you see celebrities use the word content creator, and it's like, that's not, it's not the same as someone like me who has under 500 subscribers on YouTube going on and just making a silly video that really reaches no one and gets no viewership. It's not the same. And I'm thinking right now, I'm like, yeah, I know how to make a video get engagement. I know how to make a video get reach. Not every video do I feel like deserves the time and the energy. Sometimes it just needs to be, and you have to let go and let the algorithm do what it amplify or de-amplify if you're doing something that is pre-planned, a production, like a movie, music video, something that has, like, it's kind of time sensitive. I think that you should put a lot of effort into marketing it, sharing it, just like all the things that go into getting eyeballs on it. But if you're just going to jump and do a podcast, you're just going to jump and do a live stream, a webinar, there are a lot of different kind of spontaneous types of content. You kind of have to, let go, let the platform determine if it should be seen or if it should not be seen. And you also kind of want your followers to kind of just engage with it naturally. There's a lot of money going into getting people to see things these days that maybe the free aspects of these types of content is challenged in a lot of ways, but we're gonna have to explore this topic a lot further and dive into more as we go. Anyway, as always, Trent Knox TV on all the things, or at Trent Knox, and I'll see you guys on the next and later.